Hey everyone, Eric here with a very special 1cc with commentary. This is Jamestown Plus Gauntlet mode, legendary difficulty, and I'm playing with the beam ship. This is really special to me because this is my first, what I'm going to be calling arcade level 1cc. And that's because all my previous one credit clears have been with novice difficulties or lower difficulty modes. So I'll go ahead and I'll talk over this first stage especially because in my opinion this first stage is kind of a tutorial stage of sorts. It's relatively low risk compared to the rest of the game, especially if you're just playing it to be safe. If you're playing for, as much score as possible, milking as many points as possible, then you'll introduce more and more risk. But kind of like playing underneath those guys. I mean, it's a little foolish, but you can kind of find the sweet spot on those by just staying right at the very bottom of the screen. And I'll also say that I was really not on route for this clear. I was very distracted. There was a lot going on in my home at the time. And so I fall off route. What I memorized the stages to be and like how I'm most comfortable clearing the stages. Fell off that a lot. And then I'd have to exercise a lot of improvisation skills and kind of like recalming myself to get back on route and get back in the zone. But it was really fun to improv, and I'm very impressed that I was able to get the one credit clear regardless of all the distractions in my home. This is a game that I'm definitely going to want to go for another 1cc and a higher score more than anything. So that's the end of this first stage, and we're approaching the stage 1 boss now. The Traitor Prince. This game has got the craziest story. It's kind of British colonization of America. The Spaniards team up with the Martians and they fight against the Brits. And this, stage 2 is centered around a historic American colony, the lost colony of Roanoke. I don't have the greatest history knowledge, so I'm not going to be talking about the story a whole lot, but if you follow it strongly, it's actually it's a pretty entertaining retelling. And more than anything, I think this game has its theme on point. The art direction is really cohesive. The music direction goes along with it very well too, and it's pretty cool. I might prefer some more energetic electronic tracks, but it's still a really solid score and, well, soundtrack we'll call it. Alright, so getting into stage 2 now, and I'll be honest, to me this is one of the more difficult stages in the game. In particular, these guys right here, whenever they're in their other fire mode in the second time that you come across them, the second encounter, this stuff all here is easy. Got a celebratory whiskey that I'm gonna be sipping on. Yeah, so this part right here with these two, big enemies, I like to route it where I end my first vaunt and then I'm able to pick up a second one to finish that guy off and just hover underneath him. And you can dodge back and forth to kind of dodge the bullets he's going to shoot back at you, but he does shoot back at you. And then sometimes this part gets me too, which is a real pain. But this time you can see I just evaded up the side of the screen missed out on a bunch of points, but... and here we see the Lost Colony of Roanoke. And these little flying Eldritch Horror things. Now, a lot of these enemies in this game, if not every enemy, has a special kill condition for those where you get more points if you kill them a special way. Those guys, what I'm calling the floating Eldritch Horrors, if you kill all their pods before you kill the main guy, then you get extra points. And you can see, like, I popped that guy and got a bunch of coins because I killed him right before he was about to explode. So, one cool thing about this game is there are plenty of opportunities to increase your score between popping the Vaunt and getting a bunch of points from absorbing bullets and killing every enemy that you can in its special state. While I'm just kind of blasting through all these poppables and floating Eldritch Horrors, I think I'd like to talk a bit about the basic mechanics in this game for anyone who's watching and doesn't know them already. But you have a primary shot, secondary shot on every ship, as well as a Vaunt mechanic, and you're able to enable or engage the Vaunt, which is that bubble that pops around their ship whenever you fill the meter at the top left. And it gives you a small window of invulnerability and increases your shot damage, I don't know, 1.5 times, something like that. And it also increases your score 2 times over, with a little bonus at the end if you don't end it prematurely. And when it ends, whether it's prematurely or not, you also get another bubble of invincibility. What I find so difficult on this stage is, honestly, I think dodging some of those things is pretty rough unless you redirect them. It's something that I should play with more, where kind of advance towards the boss a little bit more and then come down so that you can weave between those tri-shots that come from the big green bulbs more easily. But here we can see stage 2 down, no hits thus far. Stage 3, Prisoner of the Badlands. I do really like this stage, and there's also a really cool challenge level in the challenge shop called the Luge, where you go through a segment of this and then have to fight the end boss. There's 2 of the end bosses and you have to fight them simultaneously. It's a really fun challenge. This is the first shmup I ever played. I mean, unless you want to include kind of proto shmups like Galaga and stuff. I'm so upset that I didn't dodge that. Usually I would have a Vaunt saved up for that moment, you know, just in case I'm not able to kill all the bombs. I could pop the Vaunt, but messed it up. All in all, if I get off route in this part of the level, it can be challenging. But those guys that kind of fly around the screen, I tend to ignore them, and then they put me into difficult situations. One thing I really like about the beam ship for taking out these UFOs is that if you're holding your secondary fire, the big beam, you just run into the UFOs and it kills them. It kind of gives you like a damage bubble around your ship. And you can score a lot more with these kind of mid-weight guys that are coming out if you destroy all their secondary guns that are on their wings before you kill the ship itself. So here, playing the 1cc, I'm going to go for kind of a survival route off to this side. And one of the quirks of this game is that you can't bullet seal these guys that pop out just like that. He pops out of the ground and then just shoots me directly from below. It's kind of bullshit compared to a lot of other shmups where ground units, you can seal off their ability to shoot if you just stay right above them. But dumb mistake. 2 misses on this 3rd stage, a stage that honestly I can typically beat without taking a single miss, but like I said, I was very distracted. I love dodging that wave, that 3rd wave, but this 4th wave, those stupid red bullets actually catch me all the time because they can curve a lot sometimes. But with all 4 of those red pods taken out, easy peasy. And on to the 4th stage. So yeah, like I was saying, this is my first shmup. I got into playing it about 6 months ago. It's a really great co-op game, up to 4 players. It plays really well because it's horizontal and vertical scrolling. So it's, you know, it's like widescreen with vertical scrolling. Can actually fit all 4 players. And then when you kill certain enemies, they'll drop a revive pickup that revives your buddies. You also have a revive timer, but there's a hardcore mode in the options to disable that. I'd love to play that someday, you know, as unpopular as co-op shmups are. This stage is massive, I imagine, for scoring. I'm not really familiar with the replays for high scores, but the train carts can score doubly if you destroy the engine cart last. Destroy every other cart first. And then these ships that come out where you pop the mid and then they get all these red and green kind of X buttons. If you kill the green one last, then you score a lot higher for those 2. This stage can be so annoying though because those trains are so tanky and they'll block shots from the other things that are more threatening, as well as like the houses that are on the stage. And you know, you're not trying to shoot that crap, you're trying to shoot the baddies, but it all gets in the way. And then these like oil pump things, because you're in a mine. I mean, honestly, the theming on this level is just fantastic. I love it. Maybe my favorite stage for the soundtrack and for the theming. Kind of got off route here. I would love to kill him, but he's kind of blocking me out, so I'm just gonna fly away. I think this boss can be pretty annoying too because he shifts left and right in a way that kind of makes it feel like your own ship is shifting left and right against your will. So like he's shifting to the right and I'm scrolling right, and it almost feels like my ship just isn't moving at all. It's in part because of how slowly the ship moves, but this first 2 phases of this boss are really simple, but this 3rd one, this pattern right here gets me. So I'm popping the Vaunt and I'm just going for him. And I think the key to dodging that one is to kind of just stay still and let the pattern flow around you. Ah, but the bastard gets away on this train. Happy I had no hits taken. And finally, the Lost Temple of Croatoa. I like this stage a lot too. It reminds me a lot of the temple stage in Gunbird. Another favorite of mine. Look forward to that one coming to the channel with a 1 credit clear. Sometime this year, I imagine. I have that clear and I don't know, what is it called? Monkey and child difficulty, but I would love to get the arcade level clear on it. But it's kind of a hard... I mean, Psycho games are just kind of tricky. Yeah, so first and foremost, I find this part of the stage a little bit hard to beat without a vaunt, so I like to save my vaunt for that. Those kind of mid-sized guys that shoot the tri-shot out, you have to be so incredibly lucky to micro-dodge between their patterns, so you gotta macro around it, and this ship's just so slow. And then this stage is also cool because it actually has obstacles you have to weave between and stuff, and you actually have blocks that block your shots, and you can destroy and reveal new paths. I like to collect the points from those guys and then take this alt path, just for survival reasons. And then pop the Vaunt here and just kill that guy. And then get rid of the Vaunt so I can recollect it for the next room, which I find to be another tricky room on this level. Luckily, after you go over their heads, then they stop shooting at you. In this room, I like to hug the left side instead of going through the middle. I don't get as many points, but I'm going for the 1 credit clear. And let me tell you, my heart was pumping through this stage. I was just nervous because I've had a lot of runs inevitably end on this stage. It's the last stage of the run, and this is a really important clear for me, so it's just scary. Also, this part of this run, okay, I find it really tricky, and let me tell you, it was incredibly frustrating to have myself die to backing into those spikes. I was worried, but I got 1 life left, and it's the last boss, and I'm pretty confident with the last boss, so at this point, I'm just breathing deeply, trying to regain my composure, calm my heart down. Some box breathing exercises to regain focus. What do y'all do? Post in the comments if you don't mind. What do you guys do if you lose your composure? I tried to have some fun with it. Honestly, I like to think of this big laser as a big old energy dick, and I'm just whacking the conquistador's face. Fuck you. So that was one thing I was doing. It's like, I'm on the last boss. I got this in the bag. Fuck you, conquistador. Nice pop and Vaunt on a lot of these, just for the extra damage to get through the phases sooner. Oh, you thought you beat him? No, you didn't. Come out with this Sephiroth music. Conquistador, conquistador. Sorry if that's cringe as fuck. Honestly, I think that this boss on Legendary difficulty is kind of anticlimactic, because after you know him, I mean, look, you just stay underneath him and do little zigzag dodges. Sometimes the pink tendrils actually come out to the sides enough to, they force you to go out. Alright, this pattern right here, a little unpredictable, so I just pop the Vaunt. Especially with my nerves. But even though he's kind of an easy boss, like this pattern here, it's a gimme. I mean, I was off of it for that first part of it, but you can see there, it's easy. Even though he's kind of easy, it's really cool, you're like taking out these blocks and they zip back to him. I think they look really cool, those purple stars that come back at him. And then this pattern here too as well. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna sit below you and just kill the pink floating block blobs. This one right here is just rhythmically fun to dodge. And then here you just gotta pick a safe spot. Like, you ain't micro in between those things. Maybe you do, but I can't. And there we have it. The Conquistador is down, and I have my first arcade 1cc. Very, very proud of this. Just soak that music in. Here you see I got that survival bonus plus 20% for the 1 credit clear, I imagine. I have no idea if there's a better one for a no miss clear, but go watch someone else's vids for that. There's guys good enough to beat this game on the next difficulty no miss clears. And here we see on the leaderboards, I'm number 44. I'm not number 9, Eric. That's not me. I'll get there someday, though, Eric. You better watch your back. I'm coming for you. That's me, Hellmarine. Well, I hope this was fun to watch. It's my first commentary vid, and like I said, this is a really important 1cc for me, and this game means a lot to me because it's what got me into shmups. It has a lot of eccentricities and oddities to it that honestly really grind my gears now that I've played. Nintendo says I've played about 65 hours of it. And after playing that much, I gotta say that I'm pretty annoyed with some facets of this game. But all the same, I love it very much. It's very important to me. And I know that I'm going to come back to it for a higher score and to play the harder difficulties, but I'm going to be putting this one away for a while and checking out some other games. I got Dodonpachi Daifukatsu. I want to go for the arcade clear this year, as well as the Black Label clear. Gunbird, Layer Section, aka Rayforce, it's just a bunch of games. Stay tuned. I'll have an update out to my channel soon. And I'm also going to follow this up with a little review of what comes with Jamestown Plus, so you can see all the ships that are available, the extra stages. Let me tell you, the extra stages are actually the best stages in the game, in my opinion. And other thoughts that I have on the game, like showing you the challenge levels as well. It's a really good game, and if you don't have it already, I hope you check it out. Maybe you can help get some friends into shmups with this one, because, like I said, it's what got me into shmups, and everyone I've showed it to has been really impressed with this game. So, this is Eric. Thanks for checking my first arcade clear, and I hope you have a good one. Cheers.